Goosebumps, the scariest series in children's literature. I've taken it upon myself to summarize every Goosebumps story ever told, in the hopes that we all come out knowing a bit more about the things that go bump in the night. Not just the stories, but their adaptations too. So if you're ready, viewer beware, you're in for a scare, as we dive into book number 10, The Ghost Next Door. Already at 10 videos. Wow, thank you all. I noticed the subscriber count went up a bit when I mentioned it before, and honestly that video popped off. Thank you to the algorithm and my thumbnail artist. So today is The Ghost Next Door, a book that I know people say is the best written Goosebumps book ever, but still not nearly as popular as some of the classics. Hell, they haven't even put this one in one of those collector's tins I mentioned before. A big reason may be that the cover isn't that much to write home about. It's got the trademark Jacobus classics, tiled floors, Converse shoes, but it's really just a ghost standing on a welcome mat. Our tagline is, "There's a strange new kid on the block," and the back tagline is, "How come I've never seen you before?" A real quote from the book. The next cover is the UK cover. We've got, assumedly, our main character, Hannah, surrounded by flames. I wonder if that will be relevant. Also, a similar problem keeps cropping up with these expressions on the covers. Honestly, to me, it looks like she's yawning. Am I wrong? Next is our 2000s reprint. As usual, nothing too crazy. It even keeps a different yet similar vomit green color for it. For the last standalone, here's our 2015 reprint, made to go along with the movie. This one is a bit scarier. Our ghost is a nasty yellow color, and the door knocker looks like a nasty goblin. Is a creepy door knocker even relevant? I don't actually remember. For our one and only collection, this is the first time we'll be seeing the Monster Edition number 3. Curly is in a graveyard this time, and that's because every story in this book is about ghosts. Like Monster Edition 1, this book is supposed to make a screaming noise when you open it, and just like my Monster Edition number 1, it's broken. With the covers out of the way, time for our spooky summary. Hannah wakes up surrounded by flames. Her house is burning down, but just as the heat and smoke are too much to bear, she wakes up. Scary. Like about half of all Goosebumps characters, Hannah's life is boring and lonely. All of her friends are away, so summer days drone on with nothing really exciting to do. Today she's a bit more active though, on account of that terrible nightmare she just had. She goes downstairs for breakfast and we meet our two annoying siblings, little brothers Bill and Herb. They throw bouncy balls around, spill juice, the usual agonizing child things. Hannah decides today might be a day to shake things up, and so she heads to the garage to grab her bike for a ride. But that's when a voice screams, "Look out!" A boy on his bike nearly runs right into her. She even comments about her wonderful neon pants and orange tank top. How could this guy not see her? The kid's name is Danny Anderson, and he's the spitting image of a young Carrot Top. They have a small argument about how he can't believe she's living in this house, and even crazier, he's the next door neighbor. How did he move in without her knowing? Hannah swears that place was empty just the other day. This confounding conundrum of creepy coincidences is interrupted when those nasty brothers start yelling how Herb stole Bill's Game Boy. Hannah tells them to have Mom deal with it, but by the time she turns back around, Danny's gone. Oh man, this is giving me Let's Get Invisible vibes now. Don't do this cliffhanger 5 more times, please. Hannah decides to check the mailbox, and unfortunately, nothing's in it. She begins writing a letter to her friend Janie, and it is a bit angry. Janie is at camp, and she was supposed to write Hannah every day, so where are your letters? Hey, maybe she's stuck at Camp Nightmare. Hannah mentions that her attempt at simulating camp with the boys telling ghost stories didn't go well, and she might have saw a real shadow monster. She also mentions Danny, says he's cute. Finally, she tells Janie that if a cute boy is the reason she won't write letters to her, she wants her to get poison ivy in places she can't even reach. Aggressive, but reasonable. She walks all the way to town to deliver the mail, a good way to pass more time on a boring day. She says hi to Miss Quilty, a local woman, and she doesn't even respond. What a bitch. Just after putting the mail in the box, she hears something. People yelling and then a dog yelping in pain? It's Mr. Chesney, the local postman, and 3 kids, one of which is Danny. The 2 kids in front are older, and one of them owns this dog named Rusty. Apparently, Chesney was throwing rocks at this poor dog, and he tells the kids to get off of government property. When the kids leave, he storms past Hannah and ignores her. Everybody hates Mr. Chesney, though. He's the town's hard-ass, never letting anyone do anything fun. Hannah says that on Halloween, she was going to spray paint his house with her friends, but he just stood at his door with a shotgun. What a guy. Hannah doesn't know what else to do today. Might as well catch the new episode of General Hospital. That show is still airing, by the way. I don't even know how you write a show that airs for an entire hour every weekday. Tangent aside, walking home, Hannah stops in the shade for a moment. She sees a figure standing in the distance, someone wearing entirely black, standing over a pool of shadows. It beckons towards Hannah with bony arms and whispers her name. Time to run. Hannah runs for a while, still hearing the whispers, until she decides that it feels like somebody
wants to sell me something.
It's gone. She gaslights herself into thinking she was imagining things, but keeps a brisk pace on the way home. At dinner, Hannah doesn't say anything about the shadow, but she does mention Danny. She gets some generic, yeah, that's nice, as these brotherly buffoons are taking up all of Mom and Dad's attention. Days pass. No one's writing her letters. She hasn't been able to find Danny, not even seeing him in his bedroom next door. Finally, she catches Danny playing in the backyard one day and goes to talk to him. They bond a little over making fun of Mr. Chesney, and things get awkward again as stuff doesn't make any sense. Those two kids from before, Alan and Fred, they're my friends from school. School? Didn't he just move here? Turns out they go to the same school. How has she never seen him? Well, it is summer break, so... Anyway, so Hannah, you know Alan Miller, right? No. Fred Drake? No. Well, how about you, Danny? Do you know Janie Pace? No. Josh Goodman? No. Well, this is awkward. Distracted by how strange this all is, Danny seems to disappear again. He's like a ghost. Wait a minute. Danny comes back with a ladder so he can climb up to the roof. He was playing around with a tennis ball and threw it too hard. Hannah starts freaking out. She has a bad feeling about him climbing up this ladder. Danny says he climbs all the time, even waves his hands in the air after he grabs the ball. But that's when his foot slips. He's diving head first. Hannah shuts her eyes and then forces them open. Danny, he's completely fine? Danny says his middle name is Daredevil, and he does that stuff all the time. How did he do it? Magic. Hannah can't pry any further because her mom calls her back inside. She has to leave for an hour, so Hannah has to make sure these dumb two kids don't die or something. Hannah tells Mom about how that's Danny next door, but she didn't see him. Weird. The boys want to play Chutes and Ladders, which she reasonably believes is lame. The boys even want to cheat at the game, which is an insane idea for a game so simple. After dinner, Hannah sits in her room and stares at Danny's house. She's never seen anyone in there, and Danny vanished today when he went to get that letter. And he somehow didn't fall to his death or make a noise upon landing. He's like a ghost. No, that's crazy. But is it? She's got nobody to tell. All of her friends are gone and parents not listening to her. She's got to solve this on her own. Time to start stalking him. Or by her words, spying. She goes outside and walks right over to Danny's house. For some reason, the ladder is still sitting there, so she gets on it and looks through the kitchen window. Then she gasps. It's Danny. His eyes go wide, a normal response to someone staring right through your window. Hannah notices Danny's mom inside as well, and then Danny opens the door. He says hi, invites Hannah in for dinner, but she gets really flustered. I gotta leave now. Most embarrassing moment of my life. The next afternoon, Hannah watches Danny leave on his bike and grabs her own bike to follow him. She passes by that same rude woman, a dog tries to chase her, and the baseball diamond. Still no sign of Danny. She parks for a moment to scan around. A great spy she is, she can't find him at all. Did he vanish? Again? Heading back home in defeat, the shadowy figure from before appears near the rude woman's lawn. It hovers towards her and she can't pedal anymore. It reaches out a skeletal hand and stares at her with red eyes. Hannah falls off her bike in pain as the shadow comes closer. Hannah. Hannah. Hannah! It's Danny. The shadow is gone and he helps her up. He asks if she's okay. Hannah mentions the shadow and asks if Danny saw it too, but no, just her. She was riding over the grass and just fell. Maybe she's lost it. Maybe she hasn't. Who knows? The next day, Hannah checks the mailbox and nothing. Some terrible friends you have, girl. Sitting against a tree trunk, she decides to write another letter to Janie about everything going on. Let me paraphrase it here. Janie, I hope you drown in the lake because you are a stuck-up bitch for not writing me letters. That kid from next door who's cute with his young carrot top face, he is a ghost. Need some evidence? Well, 1, his family moved in and nobody saw it. 2, he goes to our school and we don't know him or his friends. 3, he vanishes sometimes and he can cast Featherfall at will with no components. 4, there was a scary shadow yesterday and then Danny showed up in its place and it was gone. Man, I sound pretty crazy, don't I? Anyway, I hope a snake bit you and you turn into a walking blueberry or I will kill you when you come back. Write me letters! Maybe that's too crazy to mail out. Nah, she needs to tell somebody about this. She goes outside and Danny suddenly appears again, shimmering in the sunlight. He demands that Hannah give him the letter. You found out the truth about me. I'll never let you tell anyone. I know what you are. Say it. Out loud. Say it. Ghost. Give me the letter now. Hannah shuts her eyes. What are you going to do to me? When she opens them, her two brothers are laughing. Hannah was so tired, she fell asleep. The tree trunk was a very uncomfortable spot to go to. They make fun of her for snoring and then go wrestle each other. Hannah believes that sometimes dreams tell the truth, a premonition you could never consciously reveal. She'll prove Danny's a ghost even if it kills her. The next evening, she decides to go over to Danny's house again with a purpose. Invite him out for ice cream or something, but then prove he's a ghost. She knocks on the door several times with no answer. She can see Danny's mom sitting at the table, so she starts yelling out. She knocks harder and screams louder, but she can't hear her? What is going on? But that's when Hannah comes to the terrifying realization. Danny's mom is a ghost too! She trembles in fear as the lights go out in Danny's house. She'll go get ice cream herself. That'll calm her down. She goes home to grab some money, even blurting out everything about Danny being a ghost to her parents. But Dad is too busy watching TV, so he doesn't really care. Hannah grabs some money and walks out. The walk to town starts to scare her. The square is practically empty and it isn't even 8 o'clock yet. Luckily, the ice cream parlor is still open, somehow staying in business with these hours. She makes it to the door when people come out. Danny and his two friends with ice cream in hand. They start running. Did they really just steal ice cream? Out of nowhere, something hits Hannah from behind and she's thrown to the ground. She looks up in pain to notice Mr. Harder, the owner of the parlor, running outside. How rude of him to bump into her. Upon returning, he yells about the kids doing exactly what I thought, stealing ice cream, to his wife. Hannah wonders why Danny and his friends would risk a criminal record just for some ice cream, and I do too. Wanting to get away from the yelling, Hannah doesn't bother getting ice cream herself, and she just starts running towards where the boys went, moving through the pain. She stops when she actually finds the boys sitting behind a hedge. It seems Fred and Alan are the ringleaders here, annoying kids with enough clout that Danny tries to be friends with them. He clearly is the most level-headed of the group, but the other two are just too assertive. Hannah's spying from the dark as they haven't been seen yet, but then headlights flash the area. It's the police! No, it's not the police, just some random old guy looking for directions. When he's gone, the group notices they're actually at Mr. Chesney's house, that rude postman from earlier. They make fun of his mailbox, hand-carved by Chesney himself, and laugh at the thought of anyone sending him some mail. The peer pressure begins. Danny Daredevil Anderson never turns down a dare, so how about you take it? Hannah gets another Jedi premonition that something bad's gonna happen. She comes out from the bush and yells, but everything goes dark. The shadow figure appears again, inches away. It whispers to her again, but the headlights of another car chase the shadow away. The boys are relentlessly pressuring Danny to lift this beautiful carved swan mailbox out of the ground. He really doesn't want to do it, but then they say the magic words. Are you chicken? So he begins to lift, and it won't budge. Hannah tries to say something, but no one's hearing her. The three decide to lift together, but that's when a voice cries out, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Mr. Chesney pulls Danny off, and one of the swan's wings comes with him. When Chesney goes to pick it up, the boys run away. Vowing to bring his shotgun next time, Chesney shakes his head in anger. And then Hannah starts running too. She stays a good enough distance behind to still be unseen and finds the boys by a tree. Danny is the only one not laughing at that hilarious moment. He mentions that grab from Mr. Chesney really messed up his shoulder. Fred and Alan joke that there's no way he would use his shotgun on some kids, but Danny thinks he definitely would. They call Danny a chicken again, saying they should get revenge on Mr. Chesney. Luckily, telling the guys he needs to get home to his mom gets Danny out of there for the night. Hannah comes up to Danny and surprises him. She asks why he even hangs out with those two, and he just says that they're okay and just act tough. Poor kid. Hannah starts mentioning what happened with Danny's mom at the door, and he doesn't respond initially. She wants to ask if his family's full of ghosts, but that question's a little too weird. At her driveway, he turns around and says that it's time to tell her the truth. You see, there's a good reason she didn't answer the door. She's deaf. An ear infection that turned real bad. She doesn't really want people knowing. She's really good at reading lips, you know? Damn, that made Hannah feel like a real jerk. Maybe she is crazy. This ghost thing is pretty insensitive of her. Walking up to her porch, the shadow figure appears again, whispering for her to stay away, and it points right at her. The shadow continues. It grins at her, telling her to stay away from Danny. Hannah screams, shielding her eyes from the shadow's blank stare. Hannah, listen to my warning. The shadow moves closer and Hannah screams again, until her dad swings the back door open, shining light from the inside outward. She tells Mom and Dad about the figure, and for the first time in Goosebumps history, the parents don't think she's crazy. Maybe they should call the police. Hannah just tells them she's tired and in pain, so she's going to go to bed. But then the shadow's waiting for her. No, it isn't. It's just a dark sweater she threw over the bedpost earlier. What a night, she says. She tries to get to sleep, but her mind is racing. She tries to think about Danny instead, but that's just as bad. He has to be a ghost. Maybe he's just lying about his mom to hide that she's a ghost too. Why is he here? Are Alan and Fred ghosts? Is everybody a ghost? Why did the shadow tell her to stay away from Danny? Is he hiding ghostly secrets? When she finally gets to sleep, her dreams are just as terrible. She's standing in a cave. A fire in the distance. The shadow appears and moves towards her. When it gets close, it reaches out its bony hands and pulls itself apart. Ripping away the shadows on its face, it reveals Danny underneath, eyes glowing the same red as before. This can't be right. She wakes up in a cold sweat, horrified but determined. She needs to talk to Danny. So the next morning, she finds him outside and just walks up to him. Hey, so Danny, are you a ghost? Huh? Yeah, sure. No clear answers. Playing soccer together, they get to talking about stuff from before, like how neither of their friend groups know each other at school. Alan and Fred want to go back to Chesney's tonight and do something crazy. At one point, they both chase after the ball. Danny accidentally trips on the thing and falls over. Both laughing, Danny asks Hannah to help him up, but her hands go right through him. So it is true. You're a ghost, aren't you, Danny? That can't be right. He shoots his arm out and it goes right through her, and Hannah doesn't feel a thing. In fear, Danny runs inside. Danny's not the ghost. I am. Hannah's going through it right now. She notices two women admiring her house. One is Mrs. Quilty, the supposedly rude woman from earlier, and someone new. The other woman says that her cousin looked at it the other week, but it's too small for them. Unfortunate, because Miss Quilty hates having a vacant house on the block. Vacant? But Hannah lives there. It's been vacant since it was rebuilt. A fire burned the house down 5 years ago, trapping the entire family inside. Hannah's dream from the beginning. Only it wasn't a dream. She really died then. Hannah starts crying, and Quilty continues. The kids started a campfire one night and forgot to put it out before bed. It spread too fast. Even after being completely rebuilt, no one's moved in. Hannah starts thinking again, still crying. No wonder she doesn't know Danny. She's been dead for 5 years. No wonder her friends don't write to her. No wonder sometimes she's fine and other times she can go right through things. What about Mom and Dad, though? The boys? Do they know? Hannah runs inside to tell them, but no one's there. The house now appears as it does in the modern day. Empty. No one there. Her family has left her here. She needs to tell somebody. She picks up the phone, but the receiver is dead. She starts crying again and buries her head as she sits on the ground. After who knows how long, she gets back up. Time has floated by and it's nighttime again. She gets another premonition. Something bad is going to happen tonight. She sees Danny get on his bike to leave and calls out to him. She tries to plead her case, but he tells her to stay away, hurting Hannah even more. Whatever happens tonight must be going on at Chesney's house, so Hannah grabs her bike and starts to follow. At the house, Mr. Chesney's mailbox is already fixed, but his car isn't there. Is he not home? Fred and Alan dare Danny again to take the mailbox, and he eventually pulls it out of the ground. Mr. Chesney never shows up. Hannah sees a shadow slink around the house quickly. What was that? Fred and Alan are muttering something, but Hannah can't make it out. She talks to them in her own head. Get away. You had your revenge, now go home. And then she sees them. A box of matches. The boys move towards the house and she follows. Pushing Danny to go first, eventually each of the boys sneak into the house from the back window. Hannah tries to follow, but something grabs her leg. She was so distracted that her foot got caught in the garden hose. She gets herself free and stands at the open window. The house is completely dark, but she can hear the boys inside. Headlights appear, causing Hannah to freeze, but then they leave. It wasn't Chesney. She starts yelling to Danny for him to get out of there, but he either can't or won't hear her. The lights start to come on, an orange light that starts getting brighter. Not house lights, a fire. She starts to shout again, but the shadows appear and move forward. It calls to her, telling her to stay away. Who are you? What do you want? As the flames grow from behind, the shadow begins to envelop her. Suddenly, figures crash into her. Fred and Alan. They both say they didn't mean it. Danny's trapped inside. They run to go get help. Hannah knows she has to save Danny. The shadow blocks her path. It tells her that she can't save him. Screaming the same questions. Who are you? What do you want? She desperately tries to move forward and she grabs the shadow. Surprisingly, it's solid. She pulls at it, removing the shadowy face, revealing Danny's face from the dream. It announces that he is Danny's ghost. In a reveal similar to Let's Get Invisible, when Danny dies and goes to the shadow realm, which is, I guess, hell, then this ghost will take his place and stop being a shadow. You're too late, Hannah. Hannah pushes through the shadow, determined to keep moving. The heat feels so hot, but she realizes, I'm a ghost. I can't die again. She yells for Danny, finding his hand and pulling as hard as she can. Holding her breath and closing her eyes, she manages to move her and Danny to the window. As they get out, she opens her eyes to notice the shadow burning away in the flames. Laying down, Danny thanks her. She smiles as everything goes bright and then dark. Danny wakes up 2 hours later. He's in bed. After being treated for smoke inhalation and a few burns, the paramedics took him home. Mrs. Quilty is there to help Danny's mom read her lips, and Danny says he's okay. He asks where Hannah is, her friend next door, Hannah Fairchild. She died 5 years ago, Danny. You must be crazy. Hannah stands in the doorway, the figure starting to blur and fade to gray. Maybe this is what her family came back for, to save Danny. Her mother whispers from behind, "It's time to leave, Hannah. Come back to us now." As Hannah begins to float away, she calls to Danny, telling him to always remember her. Did he hear her? She hopes so. Wow, that was amazing. It wasn't wrong for a lot of people to call this one of, if not the best, Goosebumps story. It's nothing too crazy in the grand scheme of stories out there, but for Goosebumps, something this sad isn't very common. My only gripe with the story is the reveal of the shadow figure. For the entire story, I was under the impression that it was the Grim Reaper, dark cloak, bony hands, constantly chasing her because she's a ghost that needs to move on, and trying to stop Hannah from stopping Danny's death himself. Ultimately, it leads to this weird, I'm Danny's dead ghost set out to replace him angle that is completely out of left field and he goes away instantly. Make that change and it's brilliant. Honestly, I almost think that's what R.L. Stine was going for, and Scholastic maybe made him change it to be more goofy and Goosebumps-like. Who knows? That's a conspiracy theory for you. I don't know if another book will ever reveal the twist as early as this, and with such an interesting conclusion. I really hope those two kids, Fred and Alan, shape up after that horrific experience, or that Danny at least stops hanging out with them. You may recognize Hannah as being a major part of the Goosebumps movie in 2015. One day I'll cover that movie when all the books it references are taken care of, but R.L. Stine's adopted daughter in that movie is Hannah, and a love interest of her main character, Mr. 13 Reasons Why. Even though she's technically the character from the book, it just feels too weird to bring her into the real world without some changes. But fortunately for us, that isn't the only adaptation. The Ghost Next Door has a 2-part special episode, so let's see if it's just as good. So the episode immediately starts with Hannah having her dream about the fire, albeit with less actual fire. She wakes up and starts writing her first letter to Katie, not Janie this time. She even writes it on this cool 90s laptop. She mentions feeling crazy, cute boys, and then she hears a noise. The Shadow Man is outside. Oh no! She yells for Mom and Dad, but they left a poorly written note about going to see baseball. After seeing Shadow Man again, Hannah immediately calls 911, but they can't hear her. Suffice to say, the story is going a bit off the rails from the book at this point. She steps outside into this totally real nighttime sky and does a light jog until she falls right in front of our Shadow Man, screaming us right into a commercial break. Mimicking the one scene from the book, the shadow disappears and Danny takes his place. His cut is trash. He says in this version that he actually did just move into town, unlike the book where he's already been to school here. She mentions the shadow stuff and Danny, the daredevil he is gonna help look for it. He starts screaming for help, but he's just playing around to jump scare her. A little gaslighting that a kite was the one that cast the shadow, and the rock through the window? The world may never know. They argue about him moving in and her not knowing. He does a little magic trick with this rock, and then Danny's door mysteriously opens, and he disappears. But that's not a rock, that's a damn potato. In this version, Hannah is a piano prodigy, and she plays while writing another letter, which isn't nearly as aggressive as the book. She tries to take the letter out to Mr. Chesney, but he doesn't hear her either. In another new scene, the boys ride away in their bikes, but Danny is a bit late. Hannah calls out to him, just barely stopping a collision, and giving us a beautiful freeze frame of Mr. Chesney's face. Since he's the new kid in town, it's more about trying to prove himself to Fred and Alan than just maintaining their friendship. And he rides off. For some reason, it leaves behind a shadow imprint of him where he fell. Go watch Thunderbolts, it's great. Another piano and letter-writing voiceover, where she mentions wanting to spy on Danny. He's weird. Danny interrupts her daydreaming and gets defensive when she asks to see his house. He invites her to go see something, and vanishes yet again. She finds an open cellar door, where assumedly the shadow is whispering her name, and the door shuts behind her. She hears a loud creaking noise, but it's just a chair. And then the Shadow Man starts laughing at her. Oh no, not another commercial break! She manages to get out and uses the derogatory term of ghost to refer to Danny here. He didn't even put her in there, so I don't know what happened, but Hannah storms home anyway. No one responds, so she says,
I'm starting to feel like an orphan.
She just starts talking to herself and uses her fancy new laptop to scroll the web. She finds a news article about the house fire, but since it's just the street name and the names have been withheld, she has no idea it was her house. Fred and Alan ride right by her, adding more fuel to the fire, no pun intended, by saying, I don't know man, Danny just vanishes sometimes. Annie breaks into Danny's house, which is pretty creepy because it's covered in candles and someone's making shadow puppets. She finds Mrs. Anderson, who doesn't answer. She checks the oven, which is actually still full of live spiders. Okay, that's crazy. I don't care if you just moved in like 3 days ago, that thing needs cleaned ASAP. Danny shows up and Hannah accuses them of being ghosts. You got these weird, creepy candles, your oven's disgusting, and your mom can't even hear us. Well, newsflash, asshole, our electricity isn't on yet. My mom is deaf. I'm so sorry. They apologize to each other. In this version, Mrs. Anderson actually uses sign language, so we get this cute scene where Hannah's interested in learning and Danny volunteers to teach her. She shows him the house fire story and how it made her think that he was dead, which he thinks is pretty cool. She promises to start acting normal and gets jump scared by the pizza guy. I guess the article actually did say the address, and when he reveals that it burned down 3 years ago, not 5 like the book, the house immediately updates to reflect it. Danny tries to stop her from going inside, but she phases right through him. At this reveal, neither of them are very surprised at what will happen in part 2. Well, now Hannah actually is a little surprised this time, and Danny runs away like the book. For a house that burned down, a lot of stuff is pretty intact. The stone being thrown from earlier in the episode, maybe the recurring memory of someone trying to get in during the fire. She tries to touch her teddy bear, but she moves right through it, proving to her that she is, indeed, a ghost. The Shadow Man appears again, much more talkative and cheesy this time. He says he's here to help Hannah learn how to be a ghost. He tells her to stay away from Danny, that she has no friends, only him now. She actually goes to Danny's house early, and he shuts the door on her. She decides to move right through it. Cool. He grabs a string of garlic like she's a vampire, which doesn't do anything, and Danny's mom looks confused as hell. She asks for his help to find out why he's the only one who can see her, but he refuses. Now alone and lost, she actually asks for the Shadow's help to become a ghost. Step 1. Pick your victim and do some basic haunting. We start getting this weird Palpatine Anakin sequence where he's Hannah's mentor on how to use the Force of ghost power. She manages to float a letter and throw it, then lift the mailbag, spilling everything. Chesney doesn't even seem that bad in this version. She realizes, that was fun, but there's gotta be more of a reason I'm a ghost than just pranking people. Bye, Shadow Man. I'm gonna figure out why Danny's the only one who can see me. Danny actually tells the other guys about Hannah, who tease him for having a fake ghost girlfriend. He's like, I'll prove it by making her do ghost shit to you. He tries to find her at the house and he apologizes to her. She listens from behind and then she notices the Shadow Man is just desperately trying to knock down this piece of wood to kill Danny, but she pushes him out of the way. Ghosting makes her tired, so she can't mess with Fred and Alan yet. She just doesn't want to spill the beans on Shadow Man, so she just yells at Danny to leave. Hannah then starts arguing with Shadow Man about why he did that. You want to know why Danny is the only one who sees you? Well, it's because... what is that? Anyway, by midnight tonight, Danny will be dead. Like the book, Shadow Man will take his body and become a real ghost, like Hannah. Why that even matters, I have no clue. The plan is to throw a stink bomb at Mr. Chesney's house. Because Chesney is less of the guy that everybody hates, but the guy that everybody in town trolls at least once.
We decided to give you one more chance to prove yourself worthy of hanging out with us, the coolest guys in town.
Hannah starts thinking about Danny again, realizing her purpose to save Danny's life. Shadow Man is lying, because why would he throw that piece of wood if he was going to die by midnight anyway? Take that, Shadow Man, you... Oh, well, that was easy. Hannah finds the paper listing Chesney's address, which I guess the boys just memorized, then she ghost bums a bike off some random kid. Danny takes ages to light the bomb, accidentally burning himself on the match and hiding. Chesney finds his cat and heads back to bed. Locked in the closet, the match starts burning the house down. Because she's a ghost, she actually is immune to getting burned or breathing in smoke. She can grab the doorknob, but doesn't have the strength to lift Danny. In a last-ditch effort, she manages to find Chesney's home piano and play it. Chesney hears it playing and realizes someone must be inside. He grabs Danny and heads out. She yells out that you lose, Shadow Man, and he screams. No! Danny tries to find Hannah, but she starts to fade away. Her family appears to take her with them, and Danny thanks her. Well, that was interesting. I didn't expect so much to be different. The little ending part was nice, but the rest, not so much. Almost all feelings of sadness are just gone. Hannah's barely even surprised that she's a ghost. And instead of the horrific existential feelings that come of that reveal, the Shadow Man just shows up to teach her the ways of ghosting. What the hell is his deal anyway? It has the same issue the book had. It feels like a normal cheesy Goosebumps plot that just got weaseled in. Why does he need a real ghost body? Especially in this version. He already knows how to haunt people, so whatever, it's just unfortunate. Without reading the book, I'm sure you could have had a fun time watching this episode, but knowing what you're missing, it just makes the episode feel lacking. It's like everything even remotely threatening needed to be removed. Chesney's shotgun, the nightmares, the thieving, the fire being caused on purpose, even if Fred and Alan said otherwise. I don't trust him. It's unfortunate and probably my least favorite adaptation yet. If you think I'm crazy, or if you love the book a lot more like I did, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It makes my day to see people enjoy this hyperfixation of mine, so I'll see you in 2 weeks for the next book, the classic, The Haunted Mask.